Hello everyone, welcome. You are watching Jamie Lowe on Haps TV. Haps TV is a new social media platform made for broadcasting news and facts and anything that you want to. So I started using Haps a few months ago, and since then we've built quite a following on here, and I broadcast almost weekly with my friend Josh Ron. We talk about showbiz and entertainment news, and I also like to feature stories that I think need a bit of light shone on them, and that's what today is all about. So I'm very pleased today to be joined by Hattie Rowe, who I noticed on TikTok maybe a month or two ago. I've literally gone to the bottom of her TikTok account and watched all the way up, and I'm really pleased that she's here with us today. So Hattie has been sort of one of the leading voices in campaigning against multi-level marketing companies, which are sort of, one, being quite predatory, and secondly, preying on vulnerable people who in turn are being forced to undertake quite predatory actions in order to attempt to make some money. So Hattie, welcome along. Welcome to Haps. This is your first broadcast on Haps TV so far, hopefully one of many. Can you just explain to us what a multi-level marketing company business actually is?
Thank you. So yeah, a multi-level marketing company it's abbreviated to MLM. Essentially what it is, it's a method of direct sales. So there are quite a few well-known companies, such as Avon. They're probably the most well-known. You've got Herbalife, FM Perfumes. They're massive at the moment. Unique Makeup. There's loads of them. I've counted over 50 that I've seen on Facebook. The idea is they don't operate like traditional businesses. They've been compared to pyramid schemes a lot. I actually think they operate as legal pyramid schemes. The way that they are differentiated from a pyramid scheme is they have an end product. But it's obvious that the only real way to earn money in a multi-level marketing company is by recruiting other people. It would be nearly impossible to earn any significant money by just selling the products. And then whoever you recruit, you would earn money off whatever they buy and sell, and then whoever they recruit as well, and the money kind of goes up a stream up the pyramid. But it is commonly known that their recruiting methods, they do target vulnerable people, they do target lower income people, and most of these companies are geared towards women. 3/4 of people within multi-level marketing companies are women, and you can see just by the companies, they're often weight loss products, makeup, skincare, things that the average male doesn't really have much interest in. So it is primarily women that are being targeted with these.
And I first sort of started to be aware of it maybe, I want to say about 6 years ago, when all of a sudden all of the girls that were, I worked in a restaurant, and the girls that were slightly older than me all started selling this aloe vera rubbish all at once. I can't remember the company name, but it was like, oh my God, my dog's scabies was cured overnight, making these, essentially illegal claims about these products. And they were all like, oh, my business is great. I'm making a living from my phone. Talk to me about it. That was my first sort of experience with it. I never bought any products, and I was never really interested because, I was just too young. I wasn't interested in aloe vera rubbish, and I wasn't interested in a second business. I was working in a restaurant, and I thought I was cool enough for doing that. But then I watched a documentary on Netflix, and it was about Herbalife, and it was about an American financier who was shorting the Herbalife stock. And what really surprised me was how all these people had been sold a lie. They were told that they were to make, in those days when Herbalife was first starting in the US, you bought a shop front and you bought thousands of dollars worth of products, which went off very, very quickly. So from the offset, it was very clear that you weren't going to make money by selling these products. But it was really shocking to see the cohorts of people that were tricked into this. And it is, like you were saying, the vulnerable communities, the communities which are of a lower average income, that maybe needed a lifeline like this. And that, to me, it feels evil.
I agree. Yeah. Herbalife are absolutely huge. They've had a few lawsuits against them. In 2016, they got fined, I think it was 200 million for essentially operating as an illegal pyramid scheme. And loads of people that had left Herbalife were saying how much money they'd lost, and it did go to court in the end, and they had to settle it. But there's a lot of kind of exaggerations that can be made when people are recruiting for these companies. They use the examples of the people in the 1% because it's quite a well-known fact that around 99% of people, over 99% of people, don't make any significant income. So the 1% at the top are the ones that are earning thousands, but the money they're earning is due to the people beneath them losing money. But they use these people in the 1% as an example, and they'll be like, look at this woman, she's earning this much. If you can do it, if she can do it, you can do it too. But realistically, it's not feasible. A lot of these companies have peaked already, and the market for them is so oversaturated. I know so many people in my small town that sell for these companies, and the chances, if you started now, the chances of you making it to the 1% are almost impossible. And I think it's just really unrealistic the way people recruit. And I think when people are being recruited, especially a lot of people recruit their friends as well, or their family. Or I've had messages before off girls saying, hi, I know we haven't spoken in years, but this is my new business, would you be interested in this? And there's a reason we haven't spoken in years, and you're contacting me now because you want to earn money off me. And it's all for financial gain. That's what it is. The chances of you making, you're a lot more likely to lose money than you are to make money.
And I think it's very easy to be angry at the people in the DMs, which are, hey babe, not spoken in a while. But I mean, they are the ones that are tricked into it, hook, line and sinker. But then there's something that changes. So they pay the initial upfront fee, they buy the stock, but then they have to keep up this pretense that they are, like people love to throw around, boss babe. I hate to be so harsh on who are essentially the victims, but then they are forced to sort of carry on this pretense to sort of show to people, one, that there is a business, let me recruit you, and two, to sort of avoid or put as much distance between them and the inevitable point where they have to swallow the cost, accept that this was a scam, and essentially walk away very embarrassed.
I completely agree. The kind of content I put on TikTok, I only started making these videos about 3 weeks ago, and I look at the things I was posting at the start, and the kind of language I use has differed. And my interest in these companies it was first because I found them annoying. I called them pyramid schemes. I thought they were annoying, and the boss babe, the hun kind of thing. But once you do the research, you do realize that most of the people in these companies are the victims. We don't know what kind of false pretenses they've been recruited under. They'll tell you how much money they're earning, but they won't tell you how much money they're losing. And it's impossible to know the kind of full truth about it unless you've actually worked in them yourself. I have never personally worked in a multi-level marketing company, but you can't ignore the statistics that are open to the public for everyone to see, and I can't ignore the comments that have been written on my TikTok. So I think nothing can shock me about these companies anymore. There's no story that can shock me anymore. And every day I get another comment that does, and I'm thinking, how is this legal? How is this still happening to people?
And we're seeing some quite big high street names like, and what is that, Body Shop at Home? I think Ann Summers does something similar. So this is really widespread, and that's why I was so keen to get you on here and get this on Haps. And this broadcasts across the world, mainly in the sort of UK and the United States, where we've seen huge companies like LuLaRoe. I saw a very good Vice documentary about LuLaRoe, and I mean, we'll touch on the white cars in a minute, but that was where I first saw that sales tactic. And it was almost like the early starters, the early adopters did earn a lot of money immediately, but because of the multi-level marketing aspect of the business, and that's the only way that it can sort of survive and sustain itself, there's only a few levels that you can go down before you reach ultimately the population of the world or more. So even if they are making $30,000 to start with, it can't last. It physically cannot last.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's not a sustainable business model at all. I watched a YouTube video and I can't actually remember who posted it, but she was saying if she recruited 6 people, they recruited 6 people, it was only about 27 layers until the whole population of the world was recruited. So there is always going to be a certain level that it hits. And they're just not sustainable. The amount of lawsuits that go on against these companies, we don't know where they're going to be in 5-10 years time. And that's why they're not a long-term solution. It may be a bit of extra cash if you're one of the lucky ones that are earning money, but is it a realistic long-term goal when they're so oversaturated and the chances of you reaching the top are so unlikely?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and that's why it's important to be talking about this, because there are documentaries and documentaries, but you know, they are on a YouTube profile on Vice, for example, which is a sort of a fairly niche. You know, I'm not sure Boss Babes will be checking the Vice YouTube channel on a regular basis, but you know, here on Haps we appear on people's timelines. So hopefully throughout the course of tonight, we might be able to convince someone to ignore a few of those "Hey Babe" DMs. I just want to say hello to some of the people. Oh, we gone? Oh, Hattie, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what happened there, folks. Maybe the Boss Babes are trying to hack us as we speak. But I just want to say hello to some of the people who are watching. Yaxter Perry, who's just subscribed, Silver Star. Hello to you. Chuan St. Patrick, who is watching in New York, Mark Goldman from Los Angeles, and Fraser Ramsey in Edinburgh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's broadcast, where I am speaking with Hattie Rowe about the dangers of multi-level marketing. It's a time of year when people could do with that extra passive income, as they often tout it. But I first was aware of Hattie and her, let's call it activism. I mean, it's essentially it's bringing awareness. It's activism through her TikToks. Just going to play one of her most recent ones now, and actually, well, not the TikTok, the TikTok ban one. I'm going to post about the white cars, the white Mercedes, and we'll discuss that one just after this.
Do MLMs really give cars out for free? So I see posts like this all the time from people with their multi-level marketing companies claiming they've been given free cars. Get this shit for free, hashtag Arbonne Mercedes. But are they really free? So this is taken from Arbonne's Mercedes-Benz cash bonus program. If you reach vice president level, you're eligible for the bonus. However, it must be a white Mercedes, it must have Arbonne's name written 3 times on the car, and the lease has to be taken out in your name. If you don't maintain your rank or hit the specific targets, they will not pay out the bonus. With Mon8, the car must be a Jaguar or a Range Rover, and again, you have to reach the level of Market Mentor and maintain it, and the lease has to be taken out in your name. FM World is the same, they must maintain the target level or he or she cannot claim the commission, and the lease has to be taken in your name. All this information is available to the public, but I don't think these cars are free at all. If you don't maintain your level, you are liable for the lease payments. And that's the tea.
That is the tea, exactly. So these cars are another way of, you know, perpetuating the myth of success. It is, the company has bought me the car. Okay, so the company will transfer a regular payment for the lease. But at the end of the day, if the company folds, you have still essentially taken on the financial burden of that car, and to make matters worse, ruined your resale value by covering it in decals with a company's name.
Yeah, absolutely. These cars, I see so many posts. I've been given a free car, and free will be written in capital letters, and to people that don't know the kind of process with it, that's a really kind of enticing recruitment technique. But I've looked at the car plans for quite a few of these companies. None of them hand you a free car. It's always a lease or a finance car, and they will only pay if you maintain your level and hit the targets that they set you. And there's so much that could go wrong with that. Like, as I said before, we don't know where these companies are going to be. The leases have to be taken out for 3 to 5 years. are you still going to be at that level in 3 to 5 years? We don't know. But it's the kind of misconception in the post. It is really misleading. It's not everyone. I have seen a lot of posts saying I'm eligible for the car bonus. So that's a lot more honest than saying free car. I've been given a free car. But it's really not as it seems. I think if it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
Absolutely. And we've seen recently that certain social media platforms are stepping in and trying to do something about it. Just going to play one of your most recent videos on TikTok.
This is great news. So TikTok have updated their community guidelines on what you can and can't post. And now, under fraud and scams, you're no longer allowed to post content that depicts or promotes multi-level marketing. Just to clarify, they've put it under frauds and scams. So TikTok is anti-MLM, and anyone that posts content promoting a multi-level marketing company can be reported. This is amazing.
Absolutely. And interestingly, TikTok's where I found Hattie, and TikTok is where I actually started with Haps. I started producing little news segments for TikToks, and that's how me and the guys at Haps got started talking, and look at where we are now. So just want to say hi to Tim David, who is a top commenter, it's telling me. So hi, Tim. Welcome back. Welcome to the stream. Tim says, nothing any different here in America. All sing and dance they do. Headache. So yes, I'm sure lots of people will have been bitten by the bug at the start of the pandemic and made a situation that was already worse in the first place a lot more worse. So Hattie, I mean, do you get people contacting you about their experiences with MLMs? I've seen a lot of people stitching your videos, but I wonder if they're reaching out to you directly.
Oh, absolutely. I get messages. My Instagram is linked to my TikTok. I get messages daily from people sharing their own MLM experiences. Sometimes I get them screenshotting messages they've received and just saying, I've received this message, which company is it? And then I'll have a dig around and find what company it is. I get a lot of messages asking for advice, which seems mad to me because I've just been doing this on TikTok and people are coming to me for advice about multi-level marketing. But some of the stories I've been told, I've been speaking to one girl. She messaged me right as I started doing the videos, saying that her best friend was doing Herbalife. She was really worried about her. She used the word brainwashed. She said, I can't have a conversation with her without her discussing Herbalife, mentioning Herbalife. And she was like, how do I kind of approach it? And there's no real right way. You can either let it run its course or tell them that you're worried about them. But what they're told in MLMs, and I've seen this, there's a documentary called Secrets of the Multi-Life Millionaires. It's on BBC iPlayer. And a lot of these companies, they tell the reps to get rid of anyone negative, anyone that doesn't support your business, get rid of them. You don't need the negativity. They're your new family. You don't need them. And that's how a lot of the relationships can be kind of ruined, essentially. But yeah, I get messages every day on my TikTok comments every day. That there's just so many. I'm learning new stuff about these companies all the time.
And what are people saying in terms of how they got out of it? Because I'm guessing, like you were saying, it's the you're not allowed to be negative, because they have these sort of like meetings over FaceTime and Zoom and things like that, and they're like, come on ladies, I need you to sell, and it's almost getting a bit sort of like cracking the whip sort of thing. And I can imagine they can be quite hard to leave. I bet it's like leaving a cult, isn't it? You have to build yourself up, you have to make an escape plan and essentially be ready to walk away from a lot of stuff. Maybe, completely shut down your social media accounts for a few weeks or months or however long it takes. So how do people get out of them?
It varies. I think it depends on the individual, because a lot of them, you will get backlash for leaving. They'll tell you that you failed because you didn't work hard enough, you didn't have the right work ethic, you didn't put enough effort in. And that can be if you're at a vulnerable position anyway, that's not really what you want to hear. I've spoken to a few people that have just left the groups, blocked all the women, because most of them don't have kind of leaving fees. You're not in a contract, like an employment contract. you don't have to give any notice or anything like that, because you're not technically an employee. But a lot of them just block them and get out. I've spoken to one girl who told them what she thought of them and then got out, but she seemed quite like she could take it. She wasn't afraid of the kind of backlash. But I've spoken to other people that have left quite not on bad terms, and then their family, they were calling themselves her family, they've all blocked her and deleted her. So there is no real right way to do it. I think it does depend on how kind of strong you are as a person and what your kind of position with the rest of the team is.
And why did you start this? What was it about multi-level marketing which made you, whip out that TikTok and begin posting? Because your content was slightly different before all of this.
So I've always been interested in them, but I think I said before, I just used to find them annoying, and I didn't like these companies because they used to annoy me. And that's how it kind of started with my TikToks. My first TikToks were kind of jokey, and they were taking the mick out of them a bit. And it was because, from what I remember, I went on Facebook and I saw a girl that I went to school with selling FM fragrances, the perfumes. And she did a post about a sale she was doing, like, message me if you want to buy these perfumes. And I looked at the comments, and every single person, it had loads of comments from people saying, oh, can I order a Tom Ford? Can I order XYZ? But every single person also sold FM fragrances, so they weren't placing real orders. Right. They were kind of making it look like these products were in demand. They were trying to give people fear of missing out. And I thought, that's just, I've seen what you're doing in 2 minutes. And I just thought that's a bit kind of shady. And then the same day I had a message on Instagram from a girl who's been commenting on my stories, telling me I'm pretty, all of this, and then tries to recruit me for an MLM. And it was more out of anger. But then once I started making the videos and people started asking questions and asking me to make more, that's when I really started doing the research. I'd done research before, but this was when I really started, and I was looking into individual companies. I was looking at income disclosure statements, reading every article I can find, getting in contact with British YouTubers that make anti-MLM videos. There's about 4 of them, and their content's brilliant. So I've been kind of in communication with them as well. But I just feel it's not spoken about enough. It's quite, I think it's quite a big thing that is not spoken about enough. There is an anti-MLM community on Facebook and YouTube, but they tend to be quite American based. But the same problems are happening here.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I've used TikTok because the content gets out to people without them wanting to see it, because it comes up on the For You page, which isn't quite the same with YouTube. Yeah,
and I think it's really important. That's why as soon as I saw you, I watched a few of your videos, I followed along. I just thought it was really important, especially right now, when, what lies ahead of us is quite a few more months, as long as March, April, and maybe after that, where we're going to feel the impacts of this pandemic. And as well as TikTok being full of fantastic content and social media platforms being full of fantastic things, there's a lot of stuff that's convincing people, or trying to force people, pressure people into getting a side hustle. You can't just be enjoying your life. You have to be monetizing it in some way. And if you have lost your job, there's a lot of social pressure to be the best that you can, to be living your best life, as people say. And as soon as you join that MLM, that just gets 10 times worse. I've seen a lot of documentaries and just the impacts on people's lives is devastating. You were talking about the recruitment drives and the recruitment efforts, and people are. I've seen the video of yours has come up quite a few times on my For You page. It was the one where it's the document with all the spelling mistakes, and it tells you who to recruit, and it's literally like your grandma, the person that you go to the gym with, the person that you cut your hair. You can tell me more about this, but it's really that basic. It's not recruit people who you think will be good salespeople and great marketers. It's recruit anybody, because that's the only way for you to survive and for you to be appearing like you're doing well and running a business.
Exactly. With these companies, there's no kind of structure in the way they recruit. It's kind of, you recruit anyone that agrees to it. There's no kind of handing over of CVs, there's no interview process, and it's the big conception that you're a business owner as well that I really don't disagree with. And they kind of recruit, if you, in the sense, if you do this, if you join this company, you will own your own business, you'll be an entrepreneur, and it's not true at all. But yeah, on the video that I posted, it was a document giving examples of who you can recruit, and what they were trying to do was say anyone in your life is a potential, you can potentially recruit. They had some really obscure ones on there that were a bit too specific. Things like they said to recruit your mechanic, and they wrote accountant on there twice. So it was just a bit odd, but it's a bit of a misconception as well. I've spoken to one of my friends about this, and she said, why are you making these videos? The people that join them are stupid. If you join one of these companies, you've made your own mistake. But that is not the case. There are people from all walks of life being kind of scammed into joining these companies because they've been recruited under false pretenses. There is no specific kind of, there's not one type of person that joins these companies. There's people everywhere that have, or at some point have been involved in one of these companies.
Well, hello to everyone that's just joining. We've had a couple of comments here, people that are just literally hopping on to the live, asking what an MLM is. So Hattie, just for the benefit of, hello to Lorena, who's watching from Mill Creek. Just for the benefit of people who are just watching, what is an MLM? Just once again. So
an MLM, it stands for multi-level marketing. Essentially, they have a really, really similar structure to pyramid schemes. They sell products, which makes them legal, but the only way to earn any significant money is through recruiting other people to join the business, essentially, and then you earn a share of the commission that they buy and sell, and the money goes up the stream to the top of the pyramid.
And what's the future for these businesses? Because they're not illegal, because they sell a product. There are many lawsuits, class action lawsuits in the States, none that I know of here in the United Kingdom. But what is the future? Because, you know, they can't sustain themselves mathematically because of the way that they work. So eventually they will just disappear. I mean, let's think about LuLaRoe, the multi-level marketing company that sold leggings, colourful leggings, and the stock was old and had holes in and smelt of must and stuff like that. So maybe not a great product initially, but it was a product. Now that has sort of collapsed, but I don't know whether you can tell us anything about it, because the people at the top still haven't sort of admitted defeat and conceded that the business has disappeared yet.
To be honest, they are not one of the ones that I've kind of been actively researching, so I don't feel like I'm kind of qualified to talk about that company specifically. But as for the future of these companies, like the product you've mentioned, none of them have any kind of niche products. They're all, well, most of the ones I've seen are hugely overpriced compared to the rest of the market. They don't use advertising, but they're never recommended. If I Googled best mascaras, I would never see a mascara from one of these companies being recommended. And I think the awareness of it is becoming more prominent. In the anti-MLM Facebook groups that I'm in, there are so many posts in there every day. One of the groups has about 60,000 people in it. And obviously more people are joining every day, and people are becoming more aware of them. Financially, I'm not qualified in economics or anything like that, but it is obvious they're not sustainable. I think people's knowledge, as I said, is becoming more prominent, and the lawsuits say it themselves that Monate this time last year had 15 lawsuits against them, and I don't know how they're still operating, but a lot of the stuff as to the way they do operate is behind the scenes that we don't know.
And I think a final comment towards the many people who I found through your videos, stitching your videos on TikTok and that sort of thing, and stitching for people that aren't sort of versed in what TikTok is. It's a way to sort of reply to a video, to respond to a video, and it's the people that are coming forward and being honest. I saw a girl who was prompted by a comment from a little girl who said, "Oh, I want to buy this face mask as my main Christmas present. Can you tell me how to buy it?" And then that, I think, caused the woman that we're talking about to stop the MLM business, because it was that, I'm not sure what the company was, but it was the one where the products, and it was the face mask had a little scoop, and it was like, you know, ridiculously priced, way overpriced. And it's these people that we're seeing now that are coming forward and saying, listen, it was a scam. I've been in it. I've been there. Here are the products. Here's how much money I've spent, how much money I've lost, and how many relationships, personal relationships, that are damaged because of that. So I think we hope to see that we hope that we're going to see a few more of them people. I just got the comment. Thanks, Lorena.
It was really bad.
I just sort of tried like think it down. It was, but
yeah, it's got
the guy talking to a girl on camera thing. You know, I wouldn't notice if a girl had got lipstick on her teeth. I know it's happened to me before many times. So it's good that the girls are looking out for themselves, because I tell
Thank you, Lorena.
Don't look out for the girls when we're on camera. I've got that. I can tell you that for free. Honestly, it's happened so many times where people have said, "John, she's got lipstick on her teeth," and I'm just like, but anyway, it's those people that we need to come forward. The people. Yeah. That are owning up and being real about what's happened, and we're starting to see more of them, aren't we?
Definitely. So the one you were referring to is a girl called Alex Platt. She's an influencer on TikTok. I checked today, and she's got over 150,000 followers on TikTok. So I think she was targeted because she has a large following, so she can influence more people. And I'm really, really happy, because she was, from when I started making the video, she was the first one to make a video telling kind of her story of what happened. She paid £200 for products in a starter kit. Monate, the company was Monate. They've had various lawsuits, one of which was about the products making people's hair fall out, giving people scabs on their scalp. So these aren't premium products. But yeah, she had a 12-year-old girl message her saying she wanted one of the products to be her main Christmas present. And in her video, she said that was kind of the breaking point for her. She said, "I can't do this anymore." There's been a few others. There's a girl called Charlotte who told her story about Arbonne. She lost £1,500 with Arbonne. There was another girl who lost money with The Body Shop, but they recruited her when she was under 18, which they're not allowed to do. And I'm really happy that people are starting to talk about these now. One of the videos of someone telling their story happened 8 years ago, and she hasn't spoken about it for 8 years. And now, because we're speaking about it more, these people are feeling comfortable, and it's showing in the messages and the comments I'm receiving as well.
And yeah, and I think that's the thing that I'd want to put out there, is that there is, you know, people are willing to welcome, you know, if you're in an MLM right now, people are willing to welcome you back. You know, it's embarrassing, but I don't think anyone is, you know, maybe in your close inner circle, people, you know, I can imagine that my, let's say a couple of my uncles, if I joined an MLM, wouldn't be so sympathetic when I left. But, you know, on the whole, people, you know, are waiting for people to just return to normality. So Hattie, I think what we've been talking about tonight has been really important. It's been great to see some interaction in the comments. Hello to Universal Truth, who's just subscribed. But yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything. So I think all that's left to do is to let people know where they can find your content on TikTok and online, should they want to know a bit more about MLMs and all the stuff that they get up to.
So on TikTok, my username is hattie.louise. 99% of the content I produce is anti-MLM related. But I'm trying to make them, some of them an attempt to be funny. I do kind of TikTok trends, but most of them are educational. I'm replying to people's comments, asking questions. I've recently made a video about the free car plans. the difference between pyramid schemes and MLMs. But yeah, TikTok is primarily where I post them. There are a lot of YouTubers on there as well that produce similar content. So all the information is out there, which is great.
And it's one of them things that will send you on a rabbit hole. So if you do, after hearing a bit of tonight's broadcast, fancy heading down the MLM rabbit hole, start at Hattie's videos, head on over to Vice and find out all about LuLaRoe, and then end your evening on Netflix, where there's a documentary all about the class action lawsuit against Herbalife, which from what Hattie was saying, sounds like it was fairly successful. But that's all we've got time for tonight. Thank you to everyone who's watched along here on Haps TV, the network of Now, a social media broadcasting platform where you can literally sign up right now and start chatting to people all over the world, sharing the stories from where you are. But thank you so much for watching. Thanks to Hattie for joining me on her first Haps TV live broadcast. Who knows, we might be able to convince her to come back again. But Hattie, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to everyone watching. Goodbye. Cool.